Well, hello. It is Saturday again. Do you believe how quickly these weeks are just flying by? Um, and we're ready to introduce yet another dynamic diva of the week. I'm Gail White. I'm so excited about the fabulous lady that is going to speak with us right now. But I just wanted to say to everyone, hello. And here we are in February. Notice I've got on my red because this is Heart Month, specifically Women's Heart Health Month, and we're all really interested in doing everything we can for heart health. And I threw a little green on just to remind me of it's also Black History Month. Going back, I'm a child of the 70s. I was in college in the 70s, and we really liked the whole empowerment movement that we went through back then. And I just want to say empowerment is what it's all about. And so empowering women, empowering all people all the time. And during Black History Month, we're really going to, I just want to focus just a little bit, a little sliver of green there to remind us. But I don't want to spend much time there. Welcome to everyone who has joined us in this live stream. And I just want to say hello. Let me just see who is with us. Let me see if I can find someone there you go, Miss Phyllis Montoya. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Wow. I think others will be joining us, but we're going to have just a fabulous lady with a fabulous, very unusual way of empowering women. And so without delaying it anymore, I just want to introduce Miss Sherri Doucette. So Sherri, say hello to everyone, please.
Greetings, dynamic divas. My name is Sherri Doucette. Gail, thank you so much for inviting me here on this Saturday afternoon to exchange with you.
Absolutely. And Sherri, I didn't give much of an introduction because I want you to be able to tell your own story. But first of all, the story always begins with, how do we meet? And we met in a most unusual way. And the reason I'm asking you this question, women that I'm talking with always have the question for me, how do you meet such wonderful people? Where do you go to find? And I'll tell a quick story on me. I told one lady, I said, I only hang out with amazing women. And so she said, well, how do you find amazing women? I said, well, because if you're hanging out with me, you're going to be amazing. We're going to make sure of that. And that's what Dynamic Divas is all about. We're amazing. We're here to bring out the amazing in each other because that's the way we were made. So, Sherri, give us just a little bit your read. I want to know your read on how did we meet? Amazing woman.
In the most serendipitous way. We were in a department store, in a large department store in the shoe department.
There you go. That's a girl thing, isn't it?
And I was shopping for a gift. And then I spotted this beautiful, seasoned, well-dressed woman strutting in these fabulous red boots. And I would take a look, and then I would mind my business, and I would take a look, and I would mind my business. And then finally, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I walked up to you and said, listen, I don't know what you're planning to do, but you need to take those boots home, ma'am. You need to take those boots home because they are saying everything. And then, that was a wonderful segue into, so who are you and what do you do? And, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And we must connect again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's about what I remember. Then we exchanged information while the man is waiting for me to decide, you're going to buy the boots or you're going to not buy the boots. But after you told me I had to buy the boots, I mean, gee whiz, I told my husband, hey, it's a done deal. I got to get the boots, right?
Got to get the boots. Yes.
And in a future video, people are going to know exactly why I needed red boots. But for now, I want to focus on your story because what you told me just sort of blew me away. You have a ministry a nonprofit, and for women, but it's unique. It is different than any other women's ministry I've ever seen. So would you just give us a little bit of what your ministry is and how you got involved in it? I'm going to be quiet and let you tell your story.
Oh, Gail, well, thank you. I always find it an honor to be able to share my story. And you're right, it's not just a business or a nonprofit, it is my ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe it is part of my life's purpose, my life's work, to do what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to have finally come into this sense of knowing that this is what I've been called to do. So, Lighthouse Wellness. Lighthouse Wellness was founded out of some deep, deep grief. So just, to give you a brief synopsis, my husband was diagnosed with cancer at 43.
Hmm.
And it's the type of cancer that's linked to lifestyle, right? So the food that you put in your body, right? Whether or not you drink, if you're a smoker, and this particular type of cancer is gastroesophageal cancer, is one of the fastest growing cancers among Black men, right? And so we didn't know this. 46 days later, he lost his battle with cancer, right? Before any treatment could really start.
46 days.
46 days, 46 days. And thank you so much. And during those 46 days, we had a lot of opportunity to talk, right? To have those long, deep, enriching conversations. And one of the many conversations was about how to get the word out to other men, right? To take care of themselves, to let go of habits that they took up in their 20s that no longer serve them in their 30s and 40s and 50s, right? And he was determined to get that message out when he got better. And he asked that I join him, but better never came. And so once, that the heaviness of my grief began to move away, I realized that I had work to do. And that work was to share tools of healing with Black men and brown men, right? Specifically, because there's that intergenerational trauma that's been passed down, and it's altered the DNA, and it hasn't been talked about, right? And so through the use of mindfulness practices, contemplative practices like yoga and meditation, preventative health education, we're really shifting the paradigm, right? Because as a woman, I came to the understanding that my wellness and my healing is inextricably linked to that of my male counterparts.
Absolutely. We are partners for a reason.
For a reason. And when you look around in the community, right, on social media, there's no shortage of support groups for women, right? Because we know how to do that, right? We know how to link arms and to connect with our sisters and to allow ourselves to be poured into and shored up, right? Men, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Men, not so much. And so I have made it my mission to create safe spaces, right? These containers where men can come and feel safe, feel courageous enough to allow themselves to be vulnerable and to learn these ancient old practices, right? Because when you think about a conventional westernized yoga studio, it is the antithesis to safety for Black men and brown men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's screaming, you are not welcome here.
Right.
And so I teach men in unconventional spaces. One of my favorite spaces to teach pre-COVID was in a bookstore art gallery called Pan African Connection in Oak Cliff, right? Every Thursday night. And it's just beautiful to watch the men come with their yoga mats and to breathe and move in unison. Yes, not to build outward strength, but to cultivate that mental flexibility, right? To sit on that mat and know that I can release everything that I'm holding and return home to my family better than when I left.
That is so, and it reaches across all men. I mean, a lot of times, Christian men, non-Christian men, men
Yes,
who don't do well anyway, um, men who are not into health,
yes,
men who would never think of, going with their wives to an exercise program.
right. That's right.
Will go with other men, pull out a mat, and work on just relaxation techniques.
Yes. Relaxation techniques and self-modulating and self-regulation techniques, right? And
Mm,
learning how to orient when they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed.
right. Which
Yeah.
many times it's just a matter of a deep breath.
Yes. A deep breath.
A
A deep breath.
deep breath. Oh, wow. So you've been doing this for how long now?
I've been doing this for 4 years now.
And I know I've been to your website and you've got some just amazing testimonies there of men who are just grateful and their lives are changing and they're becoming better husbands and better fathers and just more relaxed and confident in every aspect of their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've heard about breaking generational curses, right?
Mhm.
That's a real thing. There
Mhm.
there are behaviors and ways of being that we can't even put a begin date on it, right? We just know that that's the way mom and dad did it, and so this is the way I do it. And unfortunately, those are maladaptive practices,
That they are.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, they helped us to survive, but not to thrive, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
which is what we want, which is what we need. We talk about building a legacy. It's about thriving, not just about survival.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Well, Sherri, I tell you, to see a woman who has a ministry that is to men and so successful as yours is just, it takes a very special kind of woman.
mm,
And I really, that's why you just stuck out in my mind as, well, there's a dynamic diva for you right there. But I want to share screen for a minute because I want to show the photo. I put this photo out on the Facebook page, but I want you to tell me about this photo. And all of us, if you're doing any kind of thing, social media, or if you have a web page or whatever, they always tell you, get a really nice picture that exemplifies who you are, what you are, and all of that. That is so hard for me to figure out. And I think many people have that struggle with that. But when I saw your picture, I said, oh my goodness, it speaks volumes. It says everything. So I want to see, I'm going to work on sharing screen here.
okay.
And when we get there, would you just give us a little bit of how you, obviously this is well thought out, okay? Well thought out. Everything about this is an image that I think speaks of power and
Mm,
empowering. And I think it's one that would draw exactly, number one, the kind of women that you're wanting to draw that are interested in learning how to help the men, but I think also it sends the right message to the men right here. So tell me how you thought through this photo.
Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't as well thought out as you might think, right? So
Oh, okay. Fooled me.
I love this dress.
Uh-huh.
So I purchased this. Okay, I don't believe in buying anything that isn't deeply discounted and on clearance. Okay, I
Okay.
just it comes from years of being a single mom, right, and putting myself last. And I like to look good, but it makes me feel better if it's deeply discounted, right?
Mhm.
And this was during the first year of my grief after Baba passed away. And I went to a designer's trunk show in her studio. And that designer is Neo Bantu. And I tried on that dress and it spoke to my soul. And I left and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I called her up it was on a Saturday. I followed up with her on Monday and said, is that dress still available? And I met her and I bought that dress and I never wore the dress until 5 years later when I took this photo during COVID. Yes. And my daughter is a photographer. And so she captured.
Hello? Miss Sherri, you're going in and out here. Are you
Can you
okay?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. You faded out for a minute. Go ahead.
Okay.
Your daughter
Uh,
is a photographer and she captured
and
this.
so my daughter captured this image. And so I knew that I needed some photos. I picked out my favorite dress that I've never ever worn and took the tag off and said, I'm wearing this dress. This dress makes me feel strong.
Mm-hmm.
I love the colors. And there it is, out in a park. Um, why this photo? Why did I choose this photo to share with you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it captures the essence of who I am without words. And to say that this image was captured from a being that came through my body. And as a parent, sometimes we wonder, how do our children see us, and do I feel strong, but do my children perceive me as being strong,
Mm.
right? And to say that my daughter's eyes captured this is particularly meaningful and telling to me
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't really trying to be posy. She was just like, Mom, put your hand up, And I was spinning around and she caught this. And I was like, wow, wow. So, yes, thank you so much.
Well, all I can say is what a team, a mother and daughter team. The vibrant colors and the patterns just energy. All I can think of is that positive energy and that look on your face that says, yes, I have something that will help you. It's I was just blown away by just the photo, and it's got me thinking, I need to update my photos and get some stuff out there that's going to be helpful. So thank you so much for explaining that. Thank you for sharing your story, Miss Sherri. And we've got your website in case people want to really take a look at what you're doing, at the wonderful, the men. And I mean, the videos of them sweating and working, and many women will be thinking of their husbands on the sofa.
Yes.
It's not be because we don't want it. 46 days. I can't imagine. I can't imagine having tragedy happen that rapidly. And if there's anything we could do to prevent, to help, I think every woman out there is ready to do that. So here's your Instagram, right? Lighthouse Wellness.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so we have two places where we could connect with you. Wow. Any last words? If you were going to give uh, let's just say a call to action for women, what might that be?
Well, let me say this about those 46 days first, is that the practices I that I am prescribing to my brothers, right? That I am sharing freely with my brothers, it's not isn't they are not practices that I've only read about. They are tried and true practices in my own life, right? And these were practices, these practices are a part of my self-care ritual, right? These were, imagine making deposits into your self-care account, right? That yields incredible exponential dividends, right? And those dividends come in the form of resiliency. And I was able to attend to the needs of my husband, my family, and to myself because I had been contributing, right, into my self-care account and withdrawing those resiliency dividends. My call to action to everyone who is watching us on, this afternoon and who may tune in later is, I want to leave you with my favorite quote from Rumi. And if any of my tribe's folks are watching this, they're like, we know where she's going. And Rumi couldn't just say hello. Rumi was so profound. Rumi spoke in poetry. But Rumi said, give not from the depths of your well, but from your overflow. And,
Absolutely.
and as women, we've been conditioned to giving from the depths of our wells, right? When there isn't enough left. And what happens is that burnout happens, right? And resistance builds up. And we um, um, we can't give with an open heart because we're very concerned if there'll be enough left over for us. But if we give from our overflow, what we know from the overflow is that the well is already full. The well is already full. So we can give freely, we can give wholeheartedly, we can show up, right, in our truth. Yeah.
Because we're not giving something we need to sustain our own lives.
Mm.
We are, and it's the cup is overflowing.
Yes.
And once the cup is overflowing, others can come and feed on that overflow. And
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. But the overflow isn't infinite, right? We have to be in a position of being poured into regularly,
Over and over daily.
daily,
Absolutely.
daily.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Ms. Sherri, you have hit on that is the purpose of Dynamic Divas. And it's the purpose of everything I do, wherever I am working and serving and having fun with women. It's about coming together, filling each other's cup,
Yes.
changing our mindset, being filled with, the infinite power of our God. And everyone has a God who fills. And
Yes.
if you're not in a situation where you're not being filled, then you need to get with the program and find a place where you're being filled. And for
Yes.
me, Dynamic Divas is one of those places where we want women to come and find women who can pour into other women. So,
Yes.
and help us. So I'm going to be touching base with you again. I'm going to be asking you again to really, because the topic that we want to talk about is how do we as women have that influence over the men that we care about? And I know you probably have lots and lots of details and practical advice for how we can do that. And so
Yes.
I'm going to have you back. I just wanted to present you today as Dynamic Diva of the Week.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So thanks again for everyone who is here with us live. Thank you. Please add your comments. We certainly want to know what you have learned, and we want to know where you go to have your cup filled, where you go to have to make sure you're giving from what flows out of you and not from the deep well that's in you. That well has to be filled up. Am I getting this right? And
Yes,
overflow.
and
And
overflowing.
now you're the powerful woman that you want to be. So
Yes.
put that in your comments. And please, let's visit Miss Sherri Doucette at lighthousewellness.org. And with that, I'm going to say to everyone, go and enjoy the rest of your day. If you're here with us on Saturday, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. And check back with us again. We are going to go live this week, several times next week, as we continue to talk about our mindset, as we continue to talk about the truth about health and wealth, and as we continue to talk about just how to leave that fabulous legacy. Ms. Doucette talked about legacy, legacy, legacy. It doesn't do me any good to build something just for myself. It is programmed into us that we want to leave that legacy for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So here we are. Just ask you to stay informed, stay tuned, because that's what divas do. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Sherri Doucette.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.